need to get my life together before I hit the record button. Nothing's where it should be. Hi friends! So today I'm going to be doing another tag yet again, but this tag is specially important because it is the MAINE tag. The MAINE are my favorite band, if you haven't noticed. A girl on Twitter and YouTube, who I will link below, I'll link her Twitter, her YouTube, her everything. Her name's Selena Falcon. She created the MAINE tag. She said she was going to create the MAINE tag once she saw our collab about our top 10 favorite The MAINE moments and top 10 favorite The MAINE songs. Now, being that The MAINE are my favorite band, I thought it was really important that I answered these questions. For one, letting you guys know stuff, and two, just to support the MAINE. I mean, they deserve much more credit, they deserve much more YouTube attention, so I thought making this tag was perfect. I thought this tag was a great idea, so shout out to you, Selena. And I hope it's Selena. I hope I'm not messing this up right now. But thank you so much for making this tag. Like I said, I'm gonna link everything below. You should check her out. Follow her on Twitter and subscribe to her on YouTube and everything. And this is completely done by her. So it is a series of 11 questions and I'm just gonna get right into it. Number 1, when/how did you get into the MAINE? Now, I was kind of a late fan, which was weird because I started getting into more alternative rock music and more pop punk bands and stuff when I was in 7th grade-ish. I was getting into Pierce the Veil, All Time Low, stuff like that. I started listening to the MAINE around when Forever Halloween was released, which was their 4th studio album. If you didn't know, American Candy is their 5th. I didn't know the MAINE at all. I had an issue of Alternative Press and I was flipping through it and there was an ad for Forever Halloween and I thought the ad looked cool. I thought the album title looked pretty cool. So I figured, I'm getting into new music. I like a lot of these rock bands. I should check it out. I remember listening to F'd Up Kids, Forever Halloween, and I think Blood Red, one other song. And I became obsessed with those songs, so within a week of the album's release, I asked my dad if he could take me to Best Buy and buy it. When I was really into bands in 7th or 8th grade, the MAINE were one of those bands that not many people knew about, and they were just a band I had on my iPod that were just kind of there, and they weren't even my favorite band. At the time, I'm pretty sure Sleeping with Sirens was my favorite band because I had a phase of Sleeping with Sirens. No shame, I love Sleeping with Sirens. I'm seeing them this November, so I love Sleeping with Sirens still, but I think 7th grade me was more in some kind of post-hardcore scene-y phase. I don't know. But that was kind of a long extended response. But I'm gonna say 2013 because that is when Forever Halloween came out. I wish I got into them earlier though, because if I did, I'm sure I would have been able to see them on other tours and stuff like that, but I didn't. Moving on to number 2, what is your favorite song by the MAINE? If you saw my collab with Paige, you might know it's not like I have one favorite The MAINE song, but if I'm gonna go with one that has always been a favorite, it has a meaning to me and everything, I'm gonna go with their song Like We Did, Windows Down, off their 3rd album, Pioneer. That song's just a very important song to me. I think it's such a jam, it has such a nostalgic rock sound to it, and I love it, so I'm gonna go with that one. Number 3, what is your favorite album or EP by the MAINE? You all know, because I think I've said it 100 times, that Forever Halloween is my favorite The MAINE album. More so because I just think it's such a well put together, cohesive album, and I love when albums are like that. I find all their albums are pretty cohesive, but I think Forever Halloween had such a cool concept to the entire thing, and I think it has some of the best songs of theirs. I also love American Candy just because American Candy meant a lot to me in the sense of all the songs on it were songs that made me feel something. And I don't know, I'm gonna go with Forever Halloween though, because that is my favorite The MAINE album, and if I could see them play any album straight through in whole live, it would be Forever Halloween. Number 4, favorite piece of the MAINE merch. That's hard. So I don't have one because I can't choose, but I'm gonna go with my flag that you see. It's signed by them, and John wrote out a little line. He wrote out, "Things are fine and we'll figure it out." So that flag just makes me happy. I have it on my wall because they signed it and because I think it kind of looks cool above my bed and my record player. I don't know. If it wasn't signed, it probably wouldn't be one of my favorites. That line that John wrote out means a lot to me. So that's one of my favorites for sure. Second has a little story behind it. My friend Ashley went to see them in November. They put on a show in Boston, and her roommate drove down to Boston to see them, and I couldn't make it, and I was devastated that I couldn't make it. And even though Boston isn't super close to me, as I've probably mentioned in some of my other videos, last year was like a really, really hard year for me, and I was just devastated that I couldn't go see my favorite band in the midst of all the problems going on, and it just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and like, I don't know, I was just so upset that I couldn't go, and like, I don't know, I was just really bummed out. So Ashley, being like the incredible friend that she is, was meeting them after the show, and I guess she caught John last minute real quick and was like, hey John, I have a friend back home, and she's dealing with some tough stuff right now. Would you mind just signing this for her? And according to her story, he like turned around and paid attention, like, 'cause I think he was being rushed out or something. He was like, yeah, sure, what's her name? And she said Sophia. And he wrote this out for me. She didn't tell him to write this. I hope you can see it without a glare. It says, I'll insert a picture if you can't. It says, Sophia, I love ya, chin up, with his signature. And this is probably just like one of the most important things to me. I have so many different ideas for tattoos of the MAINE, and I think I might get chin up in that writing. I don't know. This just at the time, with what I was going through and everything, that was just really important to me. And thank you so much, Ashley. Seriously, I think she knows how much it meant to me. And just the fact that he like cared enough to stop in his tracks and turn around, and he could have just scribbled his name, and instead he like asked for my name and he wrote I love you, chin up, and it just means a lot. So I know that's not really merch, but it's something I consider to be like really important in the MAINE collection of things. And then moving on to something you guys all know I have and love, and you've commented about it in my record collection videos, and that is Forever Halloween on vinyl. Like I said, this is my favorite the MAINE album, so having it on vinyl is definitely something really special to me. And being someone who collects records and is really interested in records, this was just really special to me. It still is. I actually don't even play it that much because I'm scared I'm gonna damage it or drop it or whatever, but I do listen to it occasionally, obviously. And yeah, you guys know I'm all like, this is my prized possession. It's harder to find now, and if you can find it, it's usually pretty expensive. And yeah, so I know I went with 3 there, but I'm sorry. Number 5, this is a detailed question, so I'm reading it. Have you seen the MAINE live? And if so, how was it? If you've seen them multiple times, pick your favorite and talk about why it's your favorite. Yes, I've seen the MAINE 4 times, 5 times in a week. I'm seeing them next week. Pray for me. Out of all the times, I really think the best was probably in March on the American Lines tour with Mayday Parade. I went to the Long Island show, the New York Long Island show at the Paramount. And as you guys also know, like, Mayday Parade are one of my favorite bands. They're my like second favorite band after the MAINE. So that was a pretty cool show for a lot of reasons. I went with my friend Gianna. If you're watching, hi. And it was just a really fun show. We met a lot of really cool people online, and like a lot of really cool girls and a lot of cool people that we kind of made friends with, and I still follow them on Instagram and Twitter. After the show, when we were meeting the band, me and my friend Gianna, part of the reason we became close was through the MAINE. When I became friends with her, she was one of the only people I've like ever known of who knew about the MAINE. I don't know that many people who were like into the MAINE before that. So her and my friend Julia specifically really, like, I started talking to them a lot more through the MAINE. We were talking to John and we were like, I know this is like probably super cliche, but you guys are a huge reason we're friends, and your music has brought us so close together. And we asked him if we could each kiss a side of his cheek, and he said yes. Like, I was so nervous because I knew he'd say yes, but I was nervous that he was gonna be iffy. Like, you can tell in someone's facial expression that they like low-key don't want you to kiss them. But John is just the best person on the planet. So of course he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, sure. Like, he doesn't even care at all. So we each kissed one of his cheeks. I will insert the picture. It's like my favorite picture ever. And it was just a really, really fun experience. I mean, I've met them after the show every time I see them, but that one specifically, just because I was with one of my best friends who I became close with through them, it was kind of just a special moment. And his face was really soft, and I was like really like, I love him. Also, may I add, another reason that was a favorite show of mine, which kind of came later, was basically the entire Another Night on Mars music video was filmed and taken from that show. So it's almost like I can take the show home and watch it again. I'm actually in it. I will insert a little clip. I'm actually in the Another Night on Mars music video at one point, taking a picture of my friend Gianna with Pat. Yeah, so that was really cool. That entire day went perfect from the second we woke up to the second we went to bed. I mean, from the second we woke up, we were having a good hair and makeup day. Like, my eyeliner didn't wig out. I got it perfect wings first try. My hair was working out. The only thing, it was kind of cold, but I loved the venue. There are enough places to go to the bathroom and eat surrounding it while you're waiting in line. Then the drive home, we were eating flagels in the car. So it was just a really good day from waking up to going to bed. And that was definitely probably one of the best days of my life, if not the best. And so that was hands down the best. Sorry, I'm like really exaggerating on these, but what did you expect, guys? They're my favorite band. I'm gonna blabber, and someone created a tag about them. Like, number 6, if you collect vinyl, do you own any of the MAINE stuff? I just showed you one, but yes, I do collect vinyl, obviously. Because I make a lot of videos about that. Unless you're new here, hello! I like vinyl, and I like the MAINE, and I like music, and I like pop punk and Taylor Swift. And so yes, I do own only 3 records of the MAINEs, because if you didn't know, their records are kind of hard to find once they're out. Forever Halloween is really hard to find now. Pioneer is really hard to find now. Imaginary Numbers I can't find anywhere, not even for an overpriced like sale. So I only have 3, and the 3 I have, which if you've seen my record videos you know, is American Candy, which isn't that hard to find anymore. Their Day Trotter Session, this isn't necessarily the MAINE album, but it is a live room of them, and it's them. So, like I showed earlier, Forever Halloween, which is my baby. Number 7, what is your favorite thing the MAINE has done for their fans? This is really hard, guys. I don't know. They do so much for their fans. And I know I sound super cliche, like, I know everyone loves their fans, but the MAINE, it's like really something different. And I'm gonna just go with something that's not one moment, but something that's just they do, and I love them for it. Ow, I gotta pee while I'm filming this, but we're gonna hold it. Like, every single one of them are so kind and genuine. Like, when I'm saying that, I say that with complete honesty. It's not just John being nice because he's the front man. It's not just 2 or 3 of them being nice and then like the rest of them just kind of being there. Like, all of them have their own personality and they're all so friendly. I can't explain it. Like, Jared, every time I meet him, like, he goes to give me a hug and asks me how I am. Like, I don't ask him for a hug first. Like, it's just, they're really genuine people. And if I'm gonna say something I love that they do for their fans, they come out after every single show. Every single show on tour, after playing a long show, probably having a long day, probably not getting enough sleep the night before, and they meet every single person they can until they are literally dragged away, or they've met everyone and they can leave. I know a lot of bands kind of do that, especially smaller bands. They'll come out and meet their fans or whatever. But with the MAINE, they've been doing it forever. And I know this is kind of a funny thing. John, there's a video of John back from 2011 or something where he was getting arrested. And no, there were no like charges. There was nothing put on his permanent record, but he was arrested, mainly just handcuffed, for not leaving a public area meeting fans after a show after being told to. I guess it was past the city's curfew and he was still out there meeting fans, which was, you know, causing a lot of crowding and probably safety issues. And they told him to like leave and he didn't. So he got handcuffed and there's like a short video. So they're just, I don't have one specific thing. They were one of the only bands to do free meet and greets on Warped Tour. They reply to us on Twitter. Like, I can message John with a problem and I think he'd reply. Like, they're just so genuine, and Pat is so into the fans. Pat is so friendly. Every time I talk to him, it's like he's happier that I'm there than I am to see him. And it's actually the other way around. Like, trust me, Pat, if you're ever gonna watch this, which you probably never will, like, I'm way more excited to see you than you are to see me. I don't care how much of a face you put on. But I don't know. Number 8, what is your favorite The Maine lyric? Oh my god, I have so many. Take me to the time things were fine, it's all broken now, but always keep in mind things are fine and we'll figure it out. And that is part of the lyric from Like We Did, Windows Down, that John wrote on my flag, and I want to get it tattooed one day. There's lyrics of theirs that just, I like the philosophy behind it, not that it's actually philosophy, but it makes me think. Like in White Walls, he says, it hurts to know the hardest part hasn't come yet, and that makes you think, because you might think you have it really bad right now, but like, the hardest part might not even have come yet. Control what you can, confront what you can't, obviously. Always remember how lucky you are to have yourself. 8123 means everything to me. I know that's cheesy, but it does, and I feel like everyone who's a part of it can agree. I don't know, they just have so many, guys. Seriously, like, that's like asking my favorite child. I'm gonna go with things are fine and we'll figure it out, because that's what John wrote for me, and that one always hits me hard. Number 9, a memory not yet mentioned that brings a smile to your face. Okay, I mentioned the show from March on the American Lines tour, so I'm not gonna bring that up. Oh, I have so many memories from their shows and stuff. Oh my god, this is hard. Okay, should I go with Warped Tour or should I go with the first time I met them? I'll go with the first time I met them. The first time I met all of them at once, it was at a signing thing, and I was fine. Like, I probably could have acted more, like, together. I think it was obvious I was kind of nervous. But I didn't cry, nothing. Like, it was good. Like, we met them, it was good, it was fun. But then after the show that night, I only got to meet John because my mom and dad were driving us home from the concert from Philadelphia, which was like an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and they were rushing us. So I only got to meet John and get a picture with John. But it was really like my first time talking to John and like meeting him. And I don't cry like meeting celebrities. Like, yes, I cry over like my favorite songs, my favorite bands, like in my personal time, but I don't cry meeting people. Like, I've met people from bands and I keep it together. Like, now I keep it together. This was the first time meeting John. I don't cry in front of him anymore. Like, I didn't cry in front of him. Let me just tell the story. So basically, my friend Ashley, she was trying, we were trying to get his attention or whatever before we had to go, and Ashley told me, she was like, I'm making sure you get your picture with him first, like, you're the priority right now, because she got like a group picture with them at the signing and I didn't, or whatever. I said hi or something, and I guess you could see in my face that I was like emotional. Like, I might have looked like I was gonna start crying, because I was. I feel like I was just very like shook, if that makes sense. I was very like, oh my god, like, this is actually you right now. And I almost cried, and I think he saw that I was about to cry. So he starts like laughing almost, John. Not really laughing, but just kind of like has a smirk on his face and is like, don't cry, it's okay. And so I sucked it up. Like, I stopped crying. I didn't cry. I sucked it up. We took a selfie. After this, my wallpaper on my phone was him. He took my phone and unlocked it to do a camera, like, selfie thing. And he, like, saw the wallpaper, and I was like, sorry if that's, like, super creepy. And he laughed again, and he was like, no, it's totally fine. And looking back, like, it wasn't creepy. There's plenty of people who probably have John as their wallpaper. But, like, I don't know. It just brings a smile on my face. Maybe just me, because, like, it was my first time talking to him and really, like, meeting him. And he's just so sweet, and he was like, you know, like, drive safe. Ow. He was just like, drive safe, have a good night. Like, number 10, what's a song you want the Maine to cover? I don't have a specific song I want the Maine to cover, but I really want them to cover Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift, as you guys probably already know, and when they did their cover EP and they said they were gonna do more new covers, like newer artists, I was really hoping for Taylor Swift, whether it was like Blank Space or Style, Wildest Dreams, or something like that. I think would be really cool for them to do. And I think they'd pull it off really well. And lastly, number 11, what does 8123 mean to you? I'm wearing an 8123 sweater, as you can tell. I'm not gonna go super in depth because I'm telling you right now, I will start crying. I'm not lying, I'm not trying to be funny. When I get passionate and roll on with this, I will start crying. So basically, if you don't know what 8123 is, which you probably do if you're watching this video, it is the MAINE's label, like self-produced, self-owned label, which they broke off from their bigger label back in 2010, 2011 to put out their album Pioneer, and since they've been doing everything on their own completely. And it's also the parking lot where they used to hang out when they were like starting and when they were like teenagers. It was the address 8123. And basically what it means to me is that this band has had one of the biggest impacts on my life. And I know I sound so dramatic, but I don't know, especially like I tweeted about this. I don't know if you guys saw, but I'm applying to colleges and we have to do a college essay to send to each college. One of the prompts was a music compilation, a poem, or a book or a movie that changed the way you look at life. And I'm picking American Candy because there's a song on that album. Every single song on that album has a different perspective and a different meaning and a different message. And I don't know, I know that's kind of getting off track, but when I say that this band has seriously impacted me so positively and they make me so happy, they make me feel like I'm part of something. And 8123, that's like exactly what it is. It's not just their label, it's not just them. It's everyone involved. And if the fans stopped buying albums and showing up at shows and paying for merch and just, supporting them, they literally wouldn't be able to put out music. The money goes directly to them. When I go to their shows, like if there's a shirt I'm thinking of getting, I always just get it because the money I know is going straight to them. It's not going to the big name label. It's not going like somewhere where it shouldn't. It's going to them. And I know I've been saying this like throughout the whole video. I probably sound like I'm just gonna be an entire like the MAINE advertisement, but I really do want to get 8123 tattooed. I'm thinking of getting it on the inside of my finger so I always see it. And I kind of wanted to get it in like one of like John's writing, or I wanted to have each of them write out a number and then maybe one of them a heart since there's 5 members. And yeah, I'm not gonna go super into detail, but it really does mean a lot to me, obviously. And I don't know, I just love them so much. 8123 does mean everything to me. I know that's really cheesy, but it does. And like I said, they've just had a really positive impact. I've made so many friends through them. I've had so many great memories through them. They've helped me through some of the hardest times ever, and I will never be able to thank them for it. And I don't care how much they're like, no, thank you, like without you. And I know their fans are like important to them, but what they've done, just being who they are, like is so important. Like they could put great music out. They could be part of 8123, but they could be jerks too, and they're not. And the fact that every time I meet them, I feel like I'm meeting friends is really special. And I don't think a lot of people can say that. I don't think a lot of people can go to one of their favorite band's concerts and genuinely feel like they're seeing friends they haven't seen in a while. And I know that sounds really dramatic and maybe creepy, but like every time I see the MAINE, it's not necessarily, oh my god, I'm seeing my favorite band ever. Like I genuinely love them and they feel like friends to me. That's all the questions. Like I said, I'm gonna link Selena's information all below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I kind of dragged it out, so I'm gonna go because I have to pee and I have homework. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will link all Selena's stuff below. Any notable mentions or anything below, just check the description for anything important, basically. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I know the MAINE aren't everyone's favorite band, but I had to do this. And I tagged Paige. I know she's probably gonna end up doing it anyway. I tagged Paige, I tagged Julia, and I tagged Jack, and anyone else who just wants to do it. So do it for Selena, do it for the MAINE, just do it. I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great week. Bye! From the West Coast,